the daily settlement report never ran at 2 a.m. and downstream jobs failed. The root cause? A job released from OnIce doesn't run immediately. It waits for the next scheduled cycle. Let's break down on hold versus ON ICE in AutoSys, how it works, and the exact mistake behind that failure. ON hold is like pausing a video. When you press play, it continues where it left off. On ice is like switching the TV off. When you turn it back on, it waits for the next scheduled program. Understanding this difference is critical for production recovery. When a job is on hold, it's frozen. If you release it after its scheduled start time, the conditions are still considered true, so the job starts immediately. This is useful for manual release scenarios. Here are the commands to put a job on hold and release it. Notice that releasing with job off hold will start the job immediately if its conditions are currently true. On ice is more drastic. When you release it, the job does not start immediately. It waits for the next occurrence of its start time. If the scheduled time has passed, that run is lost. These are the commands for on ice. After job off ice at 3 a.m. for a job that normally runs at 2 a.m., the job will wait until the next day's 2 a.m. It does not run at 3 a.m. The decision is simple. If you want the job to run as soon as you release it, use on hold. If you want to skip the current run and have it resume at its next normal time, use on ice. Here are two scenarios. For emergency maintenance where you want to run the job manually when done, use on hold. For a bug fix that will skip today's run, use on ice so it resumes tomorrow. Both statuses block downstream jobs, but the difference is timing. With on hold, downstream jobs start soon after release because the job runs immediately. With on ice, downstream jobs wait until the next scheduled cycle. If you see a downstream job stuck in waiting, check if any predecessor is on hold or on ice. That's often the real root cause. Use autorep JJobName, Q to quickly see the status, OI, and start times. The Q flag shows a compact view ideal for scripting. The sendevent commands shown, e.g., job on hold, are standard across AutoSys R11 and R12. However, in older versions, R10 and below, the event names may differ, e.g., on hold instead of job on hold. Always verify with sendevent L. After releasing a job from on ice with job off ice, you can force it to run immediately using forcestrtjob if your AutoSys version and security settings allow. This bypasses the wait for the next scheduled cycle. When a job won't start, first check its status with autorep. Look for OH or OI in the SD column. Also check the parent box. If the box is held, inner jobs are blocked even if they look normal. Here are the commands to debug. Use autorep to check status, and remember you cannot force a job on hold while it's on ice. You must clear ice first. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. The job was put on ice before its 2 a.m. start time. When released at 2:30 a.m., on ice does not evaluate the time condition as currently true. It waits for the next occurrence, which is the next day. So the job missed its window entirely. The root cause is using on ice instead of on hold to pause a job during a maintenance window, which causes the job to skip its current run window and wait for the next scheduled cycle instead of running immediately upon release. The fix is to use on hold when you plan to release and run immediately. If you accidentally use on ice, you can force start the job after release using sendevent forcestrtjob, but that bypasses conditions. The real fix is to choose the right status from the start. This is the exact mistake from the incident. Releasing on ice does not start the job immediately. The job waits for the next scheduled cycle, which could be the next day. If you put a job on hold after its start time, releasing it will start it immediately because the time condition is already passed. This can cause unintended execution. On ice evaluates conditions, but never runs. Downstream jobs see it as not running and wait indefinitely. Never use on ice on a job that has downstream dependence unless you want a support ticket. To diagnose stuck jobs, start with autorep to see the status. Check the parent box as well. Use the WR flags to view event history. Automate alerts for jobs in OH or OI status for more than a few minutes. Let's run through some common interview questions. What is the difference between on hold and on ice? On hold resumes immediately on release if conditions met. On ice waits for next cycle. If you release on hold at 3 a.m., scheduled 2 a.m., what happens? Job starts immediately. If you release on ice at 3 a.m., scheduled 2 a.m., what happens? Job waits until next day's 2 a.m. And a few frequently asked questions. Does on ice run immediately on release? No, it waits for next scheduled occurrence. Can you force start a job that is on ice? No, you must release it first, then force start. Does on hold affect downstream jobs? Yes, downstream jobs wait until the held job completes. To recap, on hold resumes immediately on release if conditions are currently true. On ice waits for the next scheduled occurrence. Choose based on whether you want the job to run now or skip this period. Ready to go deeper? Up next, force start and kill job in AutoSys, then AutoSys monitoring with WCC, then AutoSys alarms and notifications. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.